it's still warm outside. So you get this kind of August transition where you start to get the cool weather from the northeast and the heat still coming from the south. And the bait fish are running. It's super calm. I mean, you can see behind me, there's no fishing boats out or jet skis. So that's why.
Yeah, I just in the reflection, I'm getting jealous of your view. It's quite the setup.
Everyone should be able to work like this. Just remote work. It's a quiet place. It's my fortress of solitude.
Mm,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And if you're ever down on the coast of North Carolina, you ping me, and we'll make dinner or we'll go somewhere, and I'll show you around. It's a neat, neat, neat place. Nothing exciting ever happens here. Well,
That can be a good thing.
it can be a good thing. People work all year long to do nothing for a week. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, you should try to do nothing more frequently than 1 week a year. So, anyway, thank you so much for proposing your sessions this year. And I got to say, you proposed 3 great sessions. But when I was talking to Adam, he's like, all these are good. I said, yeah, but who wants to come and do 3 sessions? A lot of people have proposed multiple sessions. And I just told them, these are all great. Don't feel slighted. We really like this one. But I'm not bringing people down. It happens at Autodesk University. Somebody submits, like Carl Storms, right? Fellow Canadian. He'll submit about a bunch of sessions, and we're like, even at Built, we're like, we got to cut Carl off because Carl's got to have some downtime. So introduce yourself. This is the building credibility.
Sure.
If you don't know about like the process of these, it's yeah, we're going to build credibility. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you work for and what do you do.
Yeah, so I work at Turner Fleischer. We're an architecture firm out of Toronto, Canada. We're a studio of about 240. We do architecture, interior design, experiential graphic design. And I think in the market, in the GTA, we have kind of a reputation for being pretty technologically advanced. And
Yep.
I get to be the manager of our digital practice department, right? So of course, BIM standards, coordination, but then anything with specialized equipment, model fabrication, laser scanning, and then kind of more recently, and what's really been exciting me is the software development arm as well that we do.
Look, I guess
Yeah,
you guys are an interesting firm. I'll go little footnote. When I first met Ellen, I think she has a background in psychology,
that's right.
and she's your CFO or CEO or combined.
Both.
See, this kind of cross pollination, I think, is a very interesting approach. It's you don't just have to study architecture to have a thoughtful impact, and architecture is also a business. Don't tell any young people going to school, but it's a business. But having the psychology background and that influence, amazing. And you got models behind you that are printed. Looks like some of them are printed in 3D.
Yeah, I'm sitting in our model studio. Those are all 3D printed. Just right away kind of gets across that we're an architecture studio, so it makes for a good backdrop.
Right, right. It's not a green screen with just a stock image or anything. It's actually a real
Yeah.
model studio. So you guys print those as prototypes? Is that the idea? Is it a design step?
Yeah, but for design iteration, and then clients also love them, right? When even if we're not iterating on the design, once we got something finalized, it's a nice paperweight. Not to downplay it.
No, it's not. Well, but it also allows you to focus on the design from a macro to or micro, no, macro to micro level, where you can sort of see it in its context, that sort of overall dollhouse approach, and then you get closer and closer and more resolved. It's an important part
Yeah.
of explaining it to the customer. Yeah.
I mean, I ended up in the technology stream, but I studied architecture, and model making was a huge part of that. Every project you did,
Right.
you had to make a model, understand it physically. I think we can do a lot with software, and of course, Enscape and visualization. But
Right.
you get a different understanding of it when you're holding it, or even if you just print out the context kind of around your project and you keep that on your desk, it always grounds you, right? Like these are the surrounding buildings that
Sure.
I'm working with.
You don't get to work on a green field all the time and just place your sculpture in the middle of it. Did you go to school in Toronto?
I did, yeah, yeah.
At
Toronto
the
Metropolitan University.
is that the one with the legs that poke out of the ground and the buildings on top?
No, that is an art school, which is it's held up by pencils, so I think that's appropriate.
It looks amazing. I used to walk past it working with a client in Toronto, And I was like, wow, what's going on in there? I thought that was an architecture school. Okay. I held up my pencils. So
Yeah.
you've come to this from a technology side, but you still enjoy design.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly always thought I would be an architect, like purely architecture, right?
Right.
In school, I
Don't
tried
we
to
all?
take as many, yeah, the Starchitect and everything. Like
Right.
if there was building science or project management, I was like, no, 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 I don't need that. I need design, design, design.
Yeah.
But once I got working, it was really just the problem solving that it turns out I was enjoying the whole time. There's the design problems to solve, but then there's the process and the workflow problems. Um,
Isn't that
and
design though? It's just unfortunately they teach
yeah,
pro practice in the last year. I think it would scare people off, but solving problems is still design.
exactly. So I found it transferable, right? And
Right.
we were kind of still in, depending on which firm you're at an inflection point, kind of going from CAD to BIM. And so if you were able to spearhead that and help that change management, it was a great opportunity maybe for younger people who are a little bit, more familiar with technology kind of right out of school.
Right. I found that one of the reasons I like technology is it seemed so empowering. I could do the work of,
Mm.
I mean, when we were using CAD, it seemed like, you know, there were people on plans, there were people on elevations, on sections, on details, on schedules. There was this effort because the artifact of creating documentation, it wasn't coordinated. So you have to coordinate it with
Hmm.
carbon based AI. And when I first saw Revit, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I can really work slower and do a lot of this myself. So it seems to remove complexity. And obviously, there's complexities with Revit that don't transfer from CAD. But you guys have been early adopters. Toronto
Yeah.
had a lot of early adopters, and I believe, you were early adopters with Enscape. I could probably go back, and I think you guys purchased in
Mhm.
2015 or 2016, and that was
Yeah, Turner
when,
Fleischer especially
yeah,
very early. I think they were using Revit in 2006.
hmm
Enscape, I think you're right, 2016. We're still on the customer advisory board just because we were such early adopters and we were all in. I mean, there's bigger companies out there, but we really love kind of piloting software, testing software, giving good feedback.
right.
And we go into conferences a lot, and so we talk about the tools that we use, and so I think we kind of punch up a little bit, like we're
Why not?
for
Good.
250, like we have a presence, I think. Yeah.
One office, or are you dispersed?
One primary office. We have a
Right.
satellite office kind of on the East Coast in Halifax. But it's amazing. You walk in, it's kind of a low, wide building, and everyone sits on one floor. It's all open concept. So you mentioned Ellen. She sits just behind me. I sit next to the CTO.
Oh my gosh, you sit next to Helen, next to
Uh,
Ellen.
Ellen, yeah. And so just, in terms of, people always say when I go to conferences and they say, well,
Right.
how do you implement this change? How do you get in touch with leadership? And I say, well, I just turn around or I turn to the right and I bug them.
Oh, she's not sitting next to you at the moment, is she?
No, no.
Oh, she
But
reminds
where
me.
our desks are. Yeah.
She's so fiery, and she doesn't wait to give her opinion. Is why I love it. I
Mm.
love it. And yeah, it reminds me a bit of Carol Bartz. Carol Bartz was like that. She would let you know, and it was then water under the bridge. Let's not do that again, and let's learn from it. And so I really love Helen for that approach. It's
Well, that,
yeah.
that aligns with my work style as well. So.
Yeah, and the nice thing about technology is you don't get you can go fast. I loved
Mhm.
being able to work on a dozen projects simultaneously and having influence and getting in, tweaking the right knob or the right slider and getting it back on track. And I found practice after the rigor of architecture school to go really slow. Things can only happen as fast as the slowest gear turns. But on the
Mhm.
technology side, if that thing is kind of turning slow and it's in a holding pattern, oh no, no, wait, there's a fire to put out over here. So I loved it, still do.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's
no,
the
go
great
ahead.
size about this size firm is agility, right? And like if you're in a high rise residential project, I respect those guys so much because that project will last years, and
Right,
I just don't have the patience for that anymore. I think
right,
I'm
right,
on
right,
to R&D, and I get to have my fingerprint on every project through the BIM standards and BIM
right.
coordination.
And
But
it's a long horizontal building, like a ranch house. It's very Canadian, right? We don't have hierarchy of floors. Who's on this floor?
no,
It's all, and you
all
sit
one
next to
level.
Ellen.
Yeah.
So your session, as we were chatting about this a little beforehand, I don't know that this would have been a good fit because some firms, some people are coming from very large firms, multinational firms. Some people are coming from small solo, not solo practitioner, but smaller firms.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Developing software at a small firm would have been kind of a stretch a decade ago,
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago. But your session on the requirements and the process of developing software internally, I think that scales down to very small teams now. So talk to us a bit about your session and how you came to this and some of the rigor that goes into deciding whether or not to make an investment. Because if you do something that's really smart, eventually it's going to get acquired or someone else that's bigger than you is going to duplicate that. And then you
Right.
have to do you keep going or do you pick the thing that's being sold off the shelf? But what's the process, the thinking process to go yes or no or poke at it and decide whether to develop a tool in house?
Mm-hmm. Well, we started the digital practice department around 2016, and it really started kind of as a response to BIM and VR and laser scanning and all these technologies where, you can't just have an architect do that half of his time, right? You need a dedicated person.
Right.
And so, you start with that focus, you start with one, and then if you're seeing the ROI, you go into two. And around, 2000, we started getting, because these BIM people, they were good at Dynamo, they were good at Grasshopper.
We
It's
call
visual
them. We're going
scripting.
to call them BIM people.
BIM people, they won't mind. And so, they started to get into coding, right? And we started
Right.
building some web applications. And then we found that there was always kind of more and more things that we wanted to build, right? Because
Right.
before you get into that, you're really just, you can only buy, right? And so you look at what's there on the market. And if it doesn't quite fit your business process, you just compromise your business process. But there's
Right.
certain areas where you don't want to do that. You don't want to take your square peg and make it fit into a round hole. And so it empowers you to make the build versus buy decision. And then now we're up to 3 software developers. The mature and the technical skills of those are also much higher than what we had a few years ago. Um, Interesting enough, it's primarily people with industry background. We have a
The
architecture
developers.
background, the developers, structural
Okay.
engineering background, and so you know, I think with AI and the ability for software developers to do more, I kind of think every single firm has to have a software developer. That would be the area that I would look into investing. Again, start with one,
Right.
and just open yourself up to the ability of like, what is my secret sauce? What do I not want to compromise? And let's build a tool specific to that, specific to how we work.
Right. And you would you would you tend to lean towards someone who has industry experience or empathy, or would you pull someone if they're a really good developer, you would teach them that? What will be your thinking there?
It's interesting. I don't know the right answer. We've had both, and they've both been successful. And so I think it depends on the individual. I wouldn't rule anyone out, but people who tend to stick around, I find, are really passionate about the problems that we're solving in
Right.
AEC, um, and not just I can go do software development for fintech or something like that. They're a lot of times being grounded in having dealt with the problems and the
Right.
inefficiencies and wanting to automate them. I think it's nice to have at least some of that on
Right.
the team. But of course, the software developers, they can pick up the domain experience as well, or they can talk to the end users. That's the other great thing about being in house is unlike a software company that's desperately sending out surveys trying to figure out what should we build. It's the opposite here. We're getting bombarded with requests,
Your
and
customer advisory board is around the corner. They're in your
exactly,
office.
they're
Yeah.
in the office. Yeah.
But you can't do everything at once. You still have to choose. Like even a bunch of agile software developers, you'd still have to say, yeah, that's a really good idea, but we can't get to it right now. You have to
100%.
you
Yeah.
have to say no sometimes. And
Yeah.
then
Well,
it,
that's where the strategy comes in, right? And so
right,
we used to do a lot of stuff in around computational design, building performance, sustainability analysis, Revit productivity tools. But then those got a lot better on the market. like baseline Revit is better, the add-ins have gotten
Right.
better, the kind of sustainability, wind, solar analysis you can do in Forma, other tools, the generative design tools have gotten so much better. So we didn't have to sunset those tools, but we kind of parked them. Like we're not going to keep
Yeah.
investing in that area. So the build versus buy decision, it's something you have to keep having.
And you're completely unemotional about it. It doesn't, or do you kind of
Don't,
go, I don't know. What if we do this other thing to our tool?
yeah, you can't get too attached, right? You can't have a sunk cost fallacy kind of override your better judgment.
Right. Yeah. Helen
Yeah.
will make sure of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. So so we're going to talk about the build versus buy dynamic and how you guys filter that decision making to develop tools in house at this year's event. It's going to be amazing. And it has to be amazing because you're going to go back and talk to Ellen about this, and I want to make sure she gets the appropriate executive briefing because I really want Ellen to attend once. That's the other thing. And you're bringing your partner as well. Um, and I don't know that we kind of advertise this, but when people, well, no, it's a family centric event. You bring your partner, and we don't charge for the partner. Let them work or sit by the lake or read a book or do something else, but you're still together and taking part in, we'll have a beautiful offsite down Itchituckney River and, meals, obviously. And we really want it to be this kind of familial environment. We've had, I think Rowan brought his family last year, two teenagers, and they came down the river with us. So yeah, it gives it a different vibe. It's more, in that sense, maybe it's a little built like. It's not the scale of built in RTC, but it's the idea of having people bring people that are important to them that maybe aren't in the Revit space, that sort of technology. But
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, especially if you're going away for a week, if you can bring your
right.
family, it's easier to have that conversation. And yeah, people are different when they're comfortable and they're around their family, and you can all mingle. It's
Is your
fantastic.
is your partner an architect?
No,
Technologist?
I get enough shop talk at
At
work.
work? Maybe this
Yeah,
will help your partner understand all the stuff that you do because we'll be all there talking about stuff. Like, well, wait a minute, you're not the only one that talks about this stuff all the time. So that
yeah, yeah.
might be good as well. Look, this is great. Really appreciate you coming this year. We'll have another Canadian as well, so that'll be good. You guys, as you said, you could do the hand signals to
That's
communicate.
right.
Right,
The
right.
secret Canadian hand
This
signals.
that would be awesome. Yeah, direct flights. Are you Canada? You should be able to fly directly to Jacksonville from Toronto.
Yeah, we're flying direct in, and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna fly out of Orlando. Actually, I'm gonna take the weekend
Oh,
to
nice.
explore Florida
Yep.
a little bit.
No, there's some. It's not all Orlando. Shiny new buildings, new city smell. There are
Yeah.
some places in Florida that you think you're back in the. It's Jurassic era of. You'll see that on the Chituckney River. You think you're where this has been like this for a million years. There's no
Well, I
city
figured
around.
if I'm spending a week with you out in the wilderness, I can go see the cities as well. I can
Yeah, yeah,
justify
yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, Orlando's pretty good. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's not Sydney, it's not Singapore, but yeah, people live there and love it. Scott Brown's north of Orlando. You'll meet him from Beck. So I really appreciate this. We've got just to wrap up. Uh, Early bird registration is wrapping up on September 4. So if you're curious and you want to come, please register soon. And I think that's it. It's been great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Phil.
Anything else? Any other ideas?
No, we're good.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you. And please say hey to Ellen and Steve.
We'll do. I'll pass on the hello.